Welcome to ISIS in the Bible Fall Gathering Week number 2. I am mortal or immortal. The question for today is, are you immortal or mortal? Which one is it? Being truly infinite, the terms mortal and immortal can be seen as merely describing different states or phases of a continuous existence. Yes? Mortal would describe our current physical experience, while immortal would describe our infinite non-physical essence. Just think of an acorn and an oak tree. What are your thoughts? And I know we talked about this beautiful symbol, this infinity sign in the shape of an hourglass with the phoenix. So when the sand runs out, the phoenix rises. Isn't that cool? This is AI generated this all on its own with very little. I just said, give me something beautiful about mortal and immortal, and bang, that's what it came up with. So again, we are the ones that flips it over, which is love. Our immortal one flips over our physical one and we come back. That's the reincarnation. Glad you could join us today. So what's happening in the sky? Not a whole lot happening in the sky. We should always seek the calmer shores. A couple of reminders. One is a reminder that we all need to be stepping on our ego snake, the memories that need to be replaced with new loving images, and then use the 5-step process of forgiveness. We went over that last week. And the second thing is that we have the partial lunar eclipse on October the 28th. In Libra, that represents obviously the weighing of the heart, but in medical, the kidneys, the pancreas, the lumbar region, the skin, the bones of the lumbar region, is that not only because of the moon being eclipsed partially, but because we have quite a bit in Libra, which represents, like I said, the kidneys and so on and so forth, and the weighing of the heart. So remember, all these things are just a wave. That's why I say these. That's why I bring these up. So if you feel these cleanses, these waves, they go away. But they're just a reminder, because the mind will hold lies and the ego will hold you to your past karma. But the body always tells the truth. It's a cleanse. And if it's a Libra related, then it would be about keeping your heart as light as a feather. That's the simple tool. So just a few details about the eclipse for anybody who's interested. From timeanddate.com, here is the visibility of the partial lunar eclipse. So these areas will see this much of the moon eclipse. That's it. So if you happen to be watching and from these areas, then you might be able to see a little bit of redness go across the moon. That's about it. And for those who are studying astrology, you can see that the moon is going to be far away from the north node. That, remember, the north and south node is that which eclipses the sun and the moon. Very important in medical astrology. If you do for people that pass out or seizures or whatever, these are involved. So you can see it's 10 degrees apart. That's why you're seeing a partial. But not only that, it's also again, this is just for the people that want to learn. Sorry if it's boring, but you can see the declination also between the sun, the moon, and the north and south node for a partial eclipse. But if you see the next total lunar eclipse, you can see they're more aligned. They're close to the north and south node, and they're also on the declination or the height in the sky when you go look. So that's just some simple geometry that's used. And it's really simple when you look at a geocentric model, not NASA's model. All right, so now are some entries from our brothers and sisters which synchronistically fit with our topic of today. Our loving community is growing and sharing, so here are some vibrations from our ISIS in the Bible gang. This is from Jennifer. She gave a reference book called The Lost Meaning of Death by Alvin Boyd Cohn. I grabbed a couple of sections out of there. If you guys want it, I got the PDF. If you're interested, let me know. I'll share it up on Google Drive or whatever. But it says, in the Old Testament, the Eternal, the Lord, frequently calls Egypt the slave pen. And it says, see Moffat translation. There's a Bible translation by Moffat. I downloaded it. It's very similar, but he's got a few reinterpretations that are fitting. And it says, for after a sojourn in the land of Egypt, We are released in the fulfillment of the cycle, and always the exodus from this far country is made by crossing a water, the Reed Sea, the Styx, the Jordan, the Black Sea, the Sea of Galilee, and Galilee means the water wheel, the Dead Sea, or another lake or stream. So you can see it's always talking about crossing the waters, crossing the sea. And the sea you have to cross is that thought about mortal versus immortal. That's the meaning of the sea. The revelation of you being infinite, to which we'll all do together with love. So that's what this guy is saying. This guy was pretty wise. All right. From the Isis in the Bible gang, Mark Twain. Yes, everybody's part of the Isis in the Bible gang. So Mark Twain, the pen name of Samuel Langhorne Clemens, was an American writer, humorist, and social critic. He is best known for his novels, Adventures of Huckleberry Finn and The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. His quote is, "I do not fear death. I have been dead for billions and billions of years before I was born, and had not suffered the slightest inconvenience from it." Pretty cool, eh? All right. Next, we have Lao Tzu, is an ancient Chinese philosopher and reputed author of the Tao Te Ching, a foundational text of Taoism. And here's his quote: "Life and death are one thread, the same line viewed from different sides." How beautiful is that one? Rabindranath Tagore was a Bengali polymath born in 1861 in Calcutta, India. He was a poet, philosopher, musician, and artist best known for his poetic works. Death is not extinguishing the light. It is only putting out the lamp because the dawn has come. You can't cross the sea merely by standing and staring at the water. How beautiful and deep is that? That's awesome. So in other words, just this discussion of mortal versus immortal. If you're standing there and not saying that I'm immortal, then you're not really crossing that sea. To cross that sea is to know that you can cross that. It's allowed. You're okay. You are immortal. Just remembering it and crossing that sea is what it takes. Just knowing it. Bhagavad Gita is a 700-verse Hindu scripture that is part of the Indian epic Mahabharata. It is a dialogue between Prince Arjuna and the god Krishna, who serves as his charioteer. Remember, these are all coming from off of the Egyptian walls. The text addresses profound philosophical and ethical questions, including the nature of life, death, and the eternal soul, or the Atman. It is a cornerstone of Hindu philosophy that has been influential in various other spiritual and philosophical traditions. And it says in there, just as a man discards worn-out clothes and puts on new clothes, the soul discards worn-out bodies and wears new ones. So you can see it's all a common theme, right? Forgive me for I don't recall who sent me this, but this brother from Age of the Storm left a gem for us to remember. The word apocalypse, apocalypsis, means uncovering, unveiling, and revealing. We know we're on Revelation because Revelation 12:1 happened in the sky this April, and November 27th is Genesis. So we're doing the switch. We're jumping over that sea. Mary is crossing us that bridge from Pisces into Aquarius. So you can see from AI, when combined, apocalypsis signifies the act of uncovering, revealing, or disclosing something that was previously hidden or unknown. In a metaphysical or spiritual context, it often refers to the unveiling of cosmic or divine truths. The Greek roots comes from apo, which means away from or separate, and kalyptine, this verb means to cover or to conceal. So that's why together they mean revelation. This is what we're upon. The revelation that you are the one that makes your waters exactly who they are. So again, from that book that Jennifer recommended, because we're going to show you where immortal is in the Bible. So they had a nice quote in there. The Book of the Dead has this vivid declaration from the lips of the manes, which is the soul and the body. He hath given me this beautiful amenta, through which the living pass from death to life. Now let us place beside this the stirring verse from the Apocalypse. I am he that liveth, and was dead, and behold, I am alive forevermore. The life, death, and life again. Here are two ancient graphs, that's in the book, outlining our descent from a former place of life to a death in order to win life still more abundant. I'm going to pause there for a second. Still more abundant. In other words, our actions create our next life. Everything around you is a sign of your past lives, how you did. So the more we love, the better our next life's going to be. And that's what they're teaching us. And that's lifting the veil. Let us read now with a new intelligence the ecstatic words of St. Paul as they ring out to us from the climatic chapter of the Christian faith, chapter 15 of 1 Corinthians. So they reference this. It's under resurrection, book 1 of Corinthians, chapter 15. For this corruptible must be on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law. So this is another example why the Egyptian walls have all this. And this is another interpretation off the Egyptian walls. We're immortal, folks. And that's immortality is all over the Egyptian walls. What's written on the Egyptian walls has nothing to do with in the afterlife. It's the next life. That's the afterlife. After this life comes another life. So while I was looking out the window, it became ever more clear to me about the cycle of the trees. Just as a leaf falls to the ground to fertilize the soil of its next cycle, so too does your actions create the foundation for your next life. Does not each grain of sand represent your actions, your fertilizer, for when you flip it over, when you flip your timeline over? That's the beautiful metaphysical symbology of a hourglass. We flip it over. It's up to us. Beautiful, simplistic reality. You are infinite. Get over it. 4:20, and that's all I have for today.